Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the latest and most in-depth political stories shaping South Africa and the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts in the comments section below. Today, we are unpacking a breaking and highly controversial development coming out of Washington, D.C., that could have massive implications for South Africa's ruling party, the African National Congress, or ANC. This week, a United States Congressional Committee took a bold and unprecedented step by passing a bill that targets senior leaders of the ANC with potential sanctions. The bill, known as the South Africa Anti-Corruption and Global Accountability Act, is being spearheaded by Republican Representative Ronny Jackson. It successfully cleared the powerful House Foreign Affairs Committee on Tuesday, setting the stage for a possible showdown in the U.S. Congress. If this legislation makes it through the House, the Senate, and finally receives President Joe Biden's signature, some of the ANC's top brass could face severe punitive measures, including asset freezes, visa bans, and travel restrictions. But why is the ANC suddenly in Washington's crosshairs? According to Representative Jackson, the ANC has, in his words, strayed from its founding principles and become deeply entangled in criminal networks, state capture, and financial mismanagement. He argues that this corruption is not just a domestic issue for South Africa, it's a threat to regional stability and global security. This is a stunning accusation directed at one of Africa's oldest liberation movements, the same party that led the fight against apartheid and ushered in democracy under Nelson Mandela. To hear American lawmakers now accusing the ANC of undermining democracy is a sign of just how far international perceptions have shifted. The proposed bill doesn't name individuals yet, but Jackson has strongly hinted that high-ranking figures who have failed to be held accountable domestically will be among the targets. This could include senior government officials and ANC veterans implicated in the findings of South Africa's State Capture Commission, chaired by former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. Remember, the Zondo Commission unearthed years of evidence showing how state-owned enterprises were looted, how billions of rands were siphoned off through dodgy contracts, and how political leaders looked the other way, or worse, actively participated. The bill also calls for stricter oversight of U.S. foreign aid to South Africa. Washington wants to ensure that American taxpayers' money does not end up lining the pockets of corrupt entities or individuals. This is a clear warning shot, not just to the ANC but also to the South African government, which has for years relied on international goodwill and investment to prop up its struggling economy. While the bill receives strong support in the committee, not everyone is convinced this is the right approach. Democratic Representative Karen Bass, who has long been involved in U.S.-Africa relations, supported the bill but urged caution. She warned that while fighting corruption is vital, punitive measures like sanctions could inadvertently harm ordinary South Africans. And let's be honest, South Africa's economy is already in deep trouble. With soaring unemployment, rolling blackouts, and stagnant growth, the last thing the country needs is strained relations with one of its largest trading partners. So, what does this mean for South Africa's politics? Political analysts are already saying that this move could be a major blow to the ANC's international image. For decades, the ANC has enjoyed moral prestige as the party of Mandela, the party that brought freedom. But in the post-apartheid era, particularly in the past 15 years, that reputation has been tarnished by endless corruption scandals, from Candler to Bosesa, to the fallout of state capture. International watchdogs like Transparency International have repeatedly flagged South Africa's decline in governance and the erosion of public trust in state institutions. This new U.S. bill is, in many ways, the culmination of years of frustration and disappointment from the international community. Inside South Africa, the reaction is likely to be mixed. The ANC will almost certainly frame this as foreign interference, arguing that the US has no right to lecture a sovereign state about governance. But behind closed doors, there will be panic. If high-level ANC figures are sanctioned, it will not only embarrass the ruling party but could also expose offshore assets and financial dealings that some leaders would rather keep hidden. We might even see this spark internal factional battles within the ANC, as different camps try to distance themselves from the fallout. Another key question is how President Cyril Ramaphosa will respond. Ramaphosa has long portrayed himself as a reformer committed to rooting out corruption and fixing state institutions. But his critics argue that he has been too slow and too weak, allowing many of the same corrupt networks to remain in place. This US bill could either strengthen his hand, giving him international backing to clean house, or it could further weaken his position by making it look like his government is under foreign scrutiny and pressure. From a diplomatic standpoint, this is also dangerous territory. US-South Africa relations have already been tested over issues like South Africa's stance on the Russia-Ukraine war and its growing ties with China. If Washington moves forward with sanctions, Pretoria might retaliate diplomatically, aligning itself even more closely with BRICS partners like Russia and China. This could deepen the divide between South Africa and Western powers, potentially affecting trade, investment, and even security cooperation. But let's not forget the bigger picture. This is not just about politics, it's about accountability. Ordinary South Africans have been crying out for years for someone to take serious action against the culture of impunity that has allowed politicians and connected businessmen to enrich themselves while the country suffers. Load shedding, unemployment, crumbling infrastructure, these are not just random problems, they are the direct result of corruption and mismanagement. If local institutions cannot or will not hold the powerful accountable, then perhaps it is inevitable that international actors will step in. We'll have to wait and see how this bill fares when it reaches the House floor for debate and a vote. And even if it passes the House, it still has to survive the Senate and get President Biden's signature. But the fact that it has already cleared the committee stage is significant. It shows there is bipartisan concern in Washington about South Africa's direction under the ANC. So, what do you think? Is the United States right to consider sanctions against ANC leaders? Will this help clean up South African politics, or will it backfire and hurt the very people it claims to protect? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more in-depth political analysis. We'll be following this story closely and bringing you all the latest updates as it unfolds. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay informed and stay engaged. See you next time.